Hi there, welcome to Vape Crisis, and in this video today is the second part of my e-juice making tutorial. If you missed the first part, that's right here, you can click on that and watch it. It teaches you how to taste your flavour concentrates without actually making any juice at all. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to actually make the juice with the recipe that we came up with last time. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, I'm back at the computer and I've logged into e-liquid-recipes.com, and you should go and get yourself an account on that website and I'll show you why. What you're greeted with first of all is all of the recipes that all the other users have created and shared, and by the looks of it voted up themselves to 5 stars, which is akin to liking your own status on Facebook. Well done 8-Ball Vapes, slow clap to you. But the first thing we want to do is go to my page, so I'll show you around. This donate button isn't for me, this is for them, don't worry. Donate to them if you like them, they're a very good website actually. So what you'll see here is my account and all the recipes that I've created. These little black marks mean that they're not shared publicly because I'm not happy with these ones yet. There are 2 that I have shared publicly though, Sweet Mango Sours and Sun Exotic Pineapple Coconut, which is based on a soft drink here in the UK. And I favorited one of them, which is absolutely the best one that I've made so far, which is Sweet Mango Sours. So we'll click on that and you can see what the recipe looks like. As you can see, it breaks it all down, gives you a little chart there. We've got the nicotine juice, the PG and the VG, this and this, and at the bottom, the 4 different flavours in blue, which make up 20% of the recipe in total. This particular recipe, I've told it to make 30 ml, so these amounts don't apply to what we're about to do. And what we're going to do today is go and make a recipe. So we're going to click on create recipe and we're going to use what I learned from my tasting session to formulate this recipe. So let's give it a name. It was banana custard. It's actually banana vanilla custard, but custard is typically vanilla anyway. So let's go down the list and fill in the boxes. We're going to make 10 millilitres. That's perfect. First time we're making it, so we don't want to make too much. Desired strength is 6 milligrams. That's obviously the nicotine content, and that's 6 milligrams is what I vape, so that's what I'm going to make. Water, vodka, and PGA basically means how much water, vodka, or aqueous solution are you putting in there. If this was 100% VG, I would be looking at using aqueous VG, which has 10 to 20% water in it already, just to thin down the viscosity. I'm not using that. I'm not using any vodka for an alcohol taste either. I'm just sticking with the next 2 boxes down. So PG, I'm actually going to go for 30 and VG at 70 because I like the natural sweetness of VG. I also like the bigger clouds it creates. And I think that 30% PG is going to carry enough of the flavour to deliver. The nicotine solution that I have is 54 milligrams. So I'm leaving that exactly where it is. And the PG content of it is 100%. It's PG nicotine juice. So that's the first lot sorted. Now we're going to start adding our flavours. And this is the fun bit. So click on add flavour. And the first one, the main flavour that's going in is vanilla custard. Now, there are a lot of vanilla custards already on the list in the database, and some of them are going to be duplicates as well. But what we want to do is make sure we use the one from the manufacturer that we have, which I know is the Perfumer's Apprentice. So on this particular website, space, hit a bracket, TPA, they've all got abbreviations. So the one I want is the flavours, the Perfumer's Apprentice. That is exactly the flavour that we've got. And as I'm going to be going for a 20% flavour content e-juice, which means the overall content of it is the overall flavour content of it is going to be 20%. I'm going to want to take half of that for the vanilla custard itself. So I'm going to go 10% of vanilla custard. Booyah. And we can see that the chart's already filling up there with the different colours that we need. But we need to put 2 more flavours in there. So let's add now the banana, which was totally wicked gold standard. There it is. We're going to go 5% of that. We're going to add another flavour, which was our sweetener, also from TPA. Oh, damn it, I've screwed it up. All right, yes, I messed it up for a minute there because I pressed enter. I'm going to blame that on the website, not me. While you're putting these in, don't press enter. Just use the mouse and tab around. So I've added all of the 3 flavors. We've got 10% of vanilla custard, 5% of banana, and 5% of sweetener. And we're getting a warning here. Something is wrong with the numbers, the PG-VG ratio. Well, let's have a look at the chart. Well, we can see from looking at this, basically, there is not enough room left in the 10 milliliters for the VG that we want to add, for the VG content, which is too high. It's 70%. This is because the flavors and the nicotine juice contain PG, are made from PG, so they're taking up some of the percentage, and we need to reduce the VG as opposed to the PG to allow for that. So let's reduce this to 65, and immediately it's gone, and this is a good recipe to actually make. It's possible to make this recipe now. So that is what we're going to do. But first of all, let's save it. We're going to leave it private for now. As a little side note, before we go back to the mixing table, you can see these warnings here. Now, the reason these are in here is because these particular flavors are known by the community to contain potentially dangerous substances. So let's click on banana and get a little bit more info on this. The warning has been reported to crack or melt plastic tanks. May be fine to vape with glass or stainless steel. Well, that's fine. That's good advice. So let's go have a look at the vanilla custard one and see what they say about that. Again, has been reported to crack or melt plastic tanks, blah, blah, blah. So this isn't really so much of a health warning as it is a safety warning to do with your tanks. But I do know that it's quite possible that this particular flavor contains diacetyl. It is a custard flavor and a vanilla flavor as well. And they quite commonly contain a dangerous substance called diacetyl, which is currently under a lot of investigation, and I think I'm going to do a video in a couple of days that goes into more detail about that. But for now, we'll go back to our recipe, have a little look. Might as well leave that on the screen while I go back to the mixing table and show you how to actually make the juice. Here I am at the mixing table in casual mode because I don't want to get any flavour concentrates on any of my nice shirts and smell like custard all day. I figured the best way to show you this would be up close and personal like this, which means you're not going to see my face, but then who wants to see my ugly, beardy fizzog anyway? So let's get started. Let's show you what you're going to need. First thing, you're going to need a test tube or a flask or something that's measurable to the amount that we're making. And we're making 10 millilitres, so I've got a 10 millilitre tube here. You're also going to need your nicotine juice. This one I bought from Totally Wicked, came as part of a kit along with the flavours that I got. This is also from Totally Wicked, again part of a mixing kit with all sorts that comes with pipettes and syringes and blunt needles and things. Really good kit to have and actually really quite cheap as well. Next thing we're going to need are our 2 main bases. So we've got propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin. There we are, all together. And of course we're going to need the 3 flavours that we've chosen to use in our e-juice today, which are sweetener, vanilla custard and banana. We're going to make banana custard. Next thing you're going to need, and the last thing, is something to put it in this case a 10 milliliter bottle. So let's get some of these items out of the way and make a start. Oop, dropping things. So looking at our recipe, the first thing we're going to need to do is measure out our flavours. So let's take, oh yeah, of course, first of all, give them a shake. Let's take the main flavour base, which is the vanilla custard, and put 1 milliliter of vanilla custard. Now, on the website, it'll tell you you can use drops if you want, but I find that each different bottle has a different size drop. And they can vary anything from 25 drops per milliliter up to more like 35 drops per milliliter. So I'm going to measure by the milliliter, not by the drop, which again is another good reason to have something that has an overall measurable content. So let's get dripping to 1 milliliter. So that may look like it's 1 milliliter from the angle that I'm actually looking from, but in actual fact it's less. So you do want to be very careful and get your head down to it, or bring it up to your face, which in this case I'm going to do. And there we go. That is now more accurately 1 milliliter. In fact, I could probably put another drop in there, so I'm going to do that just for good measure. That's the vanilla custard flavours in. Next up, sweetener. Now this is 0.5 milliliter. It's half as much as the vanilla custard. If you remember from my tasting session, that was the ratio that we worked out. So I'm going to drip this in slowly until it gets to 1.5 milliliters overall. Again, I'm lifting it up, having a closer look. That needs a couple more drops. And put a couple more in there. Drip, drop. And the next one being the banana. Drip that in until it reaches 2 milliliters overall. Let's have a closer look. Couple more drops. And there we are. That's 2 milliliters. And if you look, you can see how the flavours have sort of separated in there as well. So we'll have to mix those up really well later on. Next bit, we might as well do the nicotine juice now. 54 milligram juice, and according to the recipe I need 1.11 milliliters of this. So just over 3.1 milliliters it should be overall. So I'll just squirt that in. Drip, drop, drip, drop, drip. Now I'm getting some of the drips on the side of the tube here, which can actually affect your overall measurement. So if that, oh, it's not quite there yet. Few more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we are. If you have a close look, that is now overall 3.1 milliliters, roughly. So now we can add our bases, our PG and our VG, and then we'll be pretty much done. Now we need more vegetable glycerin than propylene glycol, so I'm going to add this first. I'm going to take it all the way up to 9.1 milliliters. Oh wait, no, we're making a it's a 6.5 milliliters of VG actually. So what does that add up to? It's 9.6, which works out about right for our remaining PG, which is 0.39. So double checking vegetable glycerin up to 9.6, and try not to get any of this on the side of the tube, because it will take, it's a lot more viscous and it takes ages to drip down. So we're at, whoop. Silly me. I've gone and made a little mistake there, haven't I? I've gone too high on the VG, but not a problem. I'll just add the extra PG anyway from my older bottle, which is already open. So we've got a little bit more than 10 milliliters, and we have actually messed up the ratio ever so slightly, but only by about 1.5 milliliters overall. And that is our unmixed juice. Well, it's all in the same tube, but it hasn't been mixed yet. And by that, I mean we have to decant it into our little container. You can see all the layers in there. Some of these ingredients are thicker than others, and the VG immediately goes straight down to the bottom, and the PG gets pushed up. So we're going to turn it upside down straight into our 10 milliliter bottle, and it's going to start coming out quickly, and then the rest's going to come out quite slow. So we might have to just sort of leave it hanging there upside down for a little while until all of that VG's gone into the bottle, which may take a minute or two. Alright, that's enough. There's a little dribble still in there, but that's not going to make much of a difference, because the PG, with all the flavours in it and the nicotine in it, floated straight to the top. So they're all in that bottle already. We can get rid of that now and put our flavours away. And now, shake it. And when I say shake it, I mean a good full 5 minutes of hard shaking. Because, as you'll see as I start to shake it, you can see it sort of emulsifying in there and precipitating and whatever the words are. It looks lovely. It's quite obvious, isn't it, how it's all mixing together, and this is why you need to give it a really hard shake. So I'm going to go away for 5 minutes and give this a really good shaking. Back in a sec. So here it is. This is the liquid I've just made. I've been shaking it for about 5 minutes. It's got loads of bubbles in it. It's taken on a slightly yellowish orange colour, which is to be expected, and this will go darker over time as well because of an effect called steeping. But I won't go into that today. There's a lot of good information about steeping out there. It basically means you just leave the juice open to the air for a while, shake it frequently, and that will allow the flavour molecules to bind with the PG and the VG, and it'll open up the flavours a lot and make them taste a lot more robust and better, basically. So there's our juice. Don't put the lid on, leave it open for at least a week or so, but I am going to go and taste this right away just to get an idea of it. So back in 2 shakes. And here it is in a Kangatech EVOD atomizer. And the reason I put it in there is that if it tastes good in there, it'll taste better in pretty much anything else. If I start to use a dripper, then it's obviously going to taste much better in that. So let's go ahead and plug this onto my Vamo V5. It's been wicking up for about 5 minutes, so it should be good by now. Check the wattage. 12 watts, that's a good place to start, I think. Here we go. DIY caramel, no, what was it? DIY banana custard e-juice. That is good. That's a lot better than the original vanilla custard that I just mixed by itself. The sweetener in there and the banana in there is definitely working, but it does taste a little bit bland at the moment, and that's because it hasn't been steeped yet. Not as custardy as I was expecting, not as banana-y as I was expecting, but I'm sure that will change over time as the liquid gets darker and it steeps. That being said though, it's actually pretty good. Pretty good. Now, usually if you're making a fruit flavour, then it won't necessarily need as long to steep. But if you're making things that are particularly creamy or custardy or cakey, then normally those are the juices that can take a lot longer to steep, 1 week to 2 weeks. In fact, if you leave it for a month, it might even get considerably better after that long. So this juice that I've made today is not going to be at its best. I'm going to leave this quite a bit longer before I taste it again. I'm going to keep going on this today though, just for a little bit, to try and commit this taste to memory, because I'm going to want to refine this. It's not perfect. Although it will get better over time, I still think there's something missing. I think there's some kind of element of cream in there that it could really benefit from, that it doesn't currently have. But not bad at all. Yeah, quite pleased with that. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, subscribe, tell all of your friends. There'll be another video coming very soon about all of my gear. I know I've been promising that video for a few days now, but that is definitely on its way. So, thanks again for all your support, and I will see you again on the next episode of Vape Crisis.